So what are the biggest areas you feel you could work on or want to work on in that field?
Really reaching more people.
Conversion.
That conversion rate. Right now, we run based on what the program says to do. We're not in a highly populated area. Springfield's what, 100,
a little bit over 100,000, but the metro area is probably around 175 to 200.
Okay.
All other towns and stuff around it.
Not as huge of an area as a lot of people have.
Yeah. It's funny you say that though, Jessica, because honestly, you don't need, like I'm in a town of 70,000. Half our revenue comes from this town at a whole farm. The next town over is the big one, the 1.5 million. So for me, I always come from a radius perspective. So just take your initial 5 square miles, 10, 25, 50. I use quite a bit, almost like that bullseye, because then you start to see where the best allocation of your time is. There's always going to be, as you guys know, there's always hubs of restaurants, right? That hub is great because you can get, go down, there's 20 on a strip, right? Right. It might be residential, might be commercial, but really you got to be, funny enough to say, you got to be very intentional about your outreach, right? So for us, when we do retail, we'll come from that perspective first. We only do like 5 square miles. Like everybody we do is only in our town. And you don't need a ton of people. You just need that consistent 50, 100 people per week in different facets to really gain that momentum going. And then those people know people who will bring people on. And it's a lot of cross marketing, right? But for me, I guess, starting with what's your directives when you guys are doing, are you doing direct to sales consumers, home deliveries as well? Or what's that looking like for you? Okay.
We got 8 consistent home deliveries right now.
Yep.
And we got like 3 that are like every other week. And then 1 just signed up to do a trial and just do a one-time sampler to see if she likes it or not.
Perfect.
So we're getting there, but it's a slower process than what I thought it would be, honestly.
For sure. And what's your process been so far to reach out to them? How have you guys been through Facebook, putting on menus, only doing the ads? How's been your direct marketing in that area? And how far are those clients? Are they that 5 square miles? Are you guys delivering wherever people are asking? How are you constructing that aspect for labor?
Within what, 20 mile square radius, probably?
20 miles,
yeah. About the 20 mile square radius.
Okay. So that's going to be one thing that's going to eventually, to be honest, probably kill a little bit of labor unless you could piggyback that off of restaurants. So for us, it said like, you can do a lot in a little. As I said, every single human is a potential client, right? You just got to get them, right? And it's not going to happen overnight by any means. For us, where it really began, we did everything through Facebook. I never actually ran an ad probably for the first year. Ads are great. We do some now. Sometimes the metrics are hard to get a reading of, but essentially we just focused on, literally half a square mile from our property and then just branched out from there. People love the idea of local. They like the idea of, that farm to table, or next door neighbor to table kind of style, right? So one of the biggest ways we did it, honestly, was so we established our business Facebook page, and then we just looked into our initial community. So our community has a community Facebook page. There's 1,200 members on that page, and we just posted our menu, introduced who we are. We always came from that farm perspective. It was never about sales. Sales for me is always a byproduct of having, good product, right? So for us, it was just putting it out there. We've got, a couple clients in that first round, but the key for me is that consistent presence. Like we literally posted every week for a year and a half. And then we start expanding into other communities, right? Or adjacent communities, right? Now with a lot of these Facebook pages, there is an administrative rule. A lot of times we're only allowed to do once a week business post or whatever it is. And that's where, organization comes in. I am a phone guy. So I just put in my phone, Tuesday, 10 a.m., post in this page, post on this page, right? You got to, until you get that habit going, you got to figure out a way to get it going, right? And start looking at, I know in our community, for example, a year and a half ago, we had a lot of restaurants closed down in like a week, like 3 major ones. So that actually catapulted a whole new page called Shop Local. This page was literally directed around our city. So unless you were in our city, you actually couldn't even post on there. So it was very directive. And then I saw other pages over the year come about as a result of COVID where, well, we got to support people. How do we do it? Facebook's free. People love making groups. You got to just find these groups, right? But for us, it started this little initial like community, and then it branched out to so look for Shop Local, support local page. Maybe there's a Chamber of Commerce page. Maybe there's a foodie page. You guys are food and beverage background. Maybe there's a page out there. Maybe start a page. Looking for groups that have some sort of correlation to what you do to some degree. Maybe there's a vegetarian page. You guys are, if you're doing wheatgrass, guess what? Now you open up the entire pet community. Because now you're getting a pet grass, cat grass, right? Now you can get a pet source. So it really is amazing how these aspects can kind of trickle down. But for us, it was just a continual, constant presence. Literally every day we were doing some sort of post. because there's there's an old marketing term, it takes about 6 times for someone to see something before they buy it. There's elements of truth. We've seen people where 6 months into doing posts, they're like, I've seen you post so many times, I got to buy now. It's just that awareness factor, right? It's like when you buy a white car, what do? You see white vehicles everywhere. It's the same premise, right? And for us, that's where it comes down to, is just having a consistent presence in the marketplace, not hounding people, but just, hey guys, we got some super fresh product. We do deliveries on Saturday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Mention we do free deliveries. Mention there's no minimums. Here's our menu. We're growing for Airdrie, we're growing for this community, right? We were born and raised. Use any marketing aspect you want, right? But for me, it was always with the neighborhood.